The homeless crisis in California has continued to worsen with rising housing costs and pandemic-related setbacks. Here in El Cajon, one community project is working to build solutions so that unsheltered people thrive in communities of their own.
And if you were to compare us with other cities in San Diego County, we have some of the highest pockets of poverty. I think our per capita, our median household income is second lowest in the county.
Construction was completed on a village of emergency sleeping cabins. The 6 cabins were built by the nonprofit Amicus and are hosted in a lot owned by the Meridian Baptist Church. The cabins include essential features to support a rotating group of homeless women and their children. When word got out about the cabins, Amicus received an outpour of support from the community.
I am Roland Slade. I'm the senior pastor of Meridian Southern Baptist Church here in El Cajon, and I'm also serving as the president of the California Southern Baptist Convention. Our congregation is made up of all kinds of people. We are definitely multicultural. That's why the flags that are here in our worship center are flags of countries of birth of the people that worship here. A few years ago, back in 2019, there was an article in the paper about these emergency sleeping cabins as a solution for homelessness. So I called them up. I read the article in the newspaper, called them up and said, hey, why don't you guys build one as a display out on an empty lot that we have at our church? And then people said, oh, that's really interesting. You ought to build a village of them. And it fits within the mission of the church, so you don't have to ask anybody. Just do it, on your own. And I said, well, what if we do it the right way? What if we do it in partnership with the city and with Amicus, the nonprofit? And I serve also on the regional task force for homelessness here in San Diego as a faith community representative. And so I go to meetings and hear all about how we have lack of housing. And it's like, well, here's an opportunity to do something. And City Councilman Steve Goebel, Steve recommended to the city staff that they do the research to come up with the parameters of what the property needed to have that could house emergency sleeping cabins.
I met Roland just through becoming part of the network of leaders here in El Cajon. He's definitely one of the go-to people when people want a pulse of what's happening with homelessness. I think at one point, Roland and I had a conversation about homelessness, and he was interested in using part of the property here for cabins, what we call emergency sleeping cabins. People call them tiny homes. And I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. How could I help? Because that is a passion of mine. I went back to the city staff and said, what's the next step for us? And that next step was zoning. Currently, this property is not zoned for a residential use, and that needed to change. So I said, well, who initiates that change? And he said, well, either the applicant can or you as a council member can. And I said, well, okay, well, what happens if I do it? He said, well, then the applicant doesn't have to pay the fee. And I said, okay, I want to initiate the application, so there's no fee. It still went through the process, but being initiated by the council, this now became even a bigger project. Not only did we approve this site, but we approved 12 other churches, their sites here in the city, that they could automatically do the same thing. They wouldn't have to go through this zoning change process. It was already done.
4 entities come together to hold up this ministry, really, the village itself. The one, of course, is the church. We own the property. The city has come in as a partner to help us in terms of the administrative, making sure that we're following building codes and we have the correct permits. Then Amicus, which is a nonprofit, they come in, build and own the cabins and take care of the cabins. And then Crisis House, which is a social service agency, they come in and provide the social services. Our women's ministry is engaged with the ladies. Our men, of course, get involved in volunteering to help with the building, but the ladies really invite the ladies that are in the village to come to Bible study. They build relationships with them, help them to take care of their children, meet the needs that their children might have in terms of maybe clothing or even car seats, things like that, and just walk alongside of them. One of the ladies had a situation where Child Protective Services got involved, and one of our ladies, that's a member of the congregation, went with her and helped her through that process. And they still have that relationship even today. And I think that young lady's been gone about a year.
She was in the process of working with the program to find housing. She left before she found housing, but was able to go into a hotel program. And while she was there, CPS ended up getting involved. She did have the baby removed from her custody. She had reached out to me in the process of all of it to see if I would be willing to take the baby during that time, since she knew me and I knew the baby. So the baby did stay with me for a couple days, and then just walking through that journey of restoration with their family, with that mom being a support to her. And now she does have both of her kids, and it's been awesome to see her as a parent and seeing the baby grow, and just seeing them as a family. And now she's in her own apartment and doing job training, and the kids are in school and daycare, and just seeing what could have been a negative outcome turn into a positive outcome. I'm Cynthia Bazant, and I'm a member here at Meridian Baptist Church. I have a bachelor's degree in child development and a master's of education, teaching and learning with the emphasis in early childhood education. The Amicus Village, we started building, I think, in 2020, and then we opened at the end of 2022. I'm still involved in the cabins here at Meridian. I'm now a board member with Amicus, which is the nonprofit that helped build the cabins. They invited me to be part of the board because I was acting as the liaison between the church here at Meridian and the emergency sleeping cabins, making connections with the women, helping them get clothing, letting them know what all we have going on at the church. Before I moved to San Diego, I was an infant toddler teacher and director up in Northern California. So I've had 11 years of experience of working with infants and toddlers and their moms. So I feel like the Lord used that experience and my education to be able to support the moms with the young kids as they're here, and be aware or answer their questions, or just be a listening ear without judging them. So one thing that we're looking down the road is wanting to expand the number of cabins that we have here at Meridian. Right now we have 6, and we have a high success rate as far as the number of women and children that have gotten into housing after they've left here. So we would like to expand to eventually be able to have 10 cabins here.
I believe 10's the number that will be effective for us, for everyone involved here. And because we do have a waiting list of ladies now. So, I mean, if a cabin is empty, it probably takes us longer to clean it than it does for a lady to move in. The California Mission Offering, the funds that we receive through the California Mission Offering will help fund us into the building the next 4 cabins that are coming up.
To feel like other people care about the things that are going on here at Meridian throughout the state. Even when people are far away, there's still things that they can do to help contribute. I mean, it just is a testament to God's faithfulness to provide what we need, that He would put it on people's hearts to share in the ministry. It matters if other churches give, because there's things that we can't do on our own, but when we come together, we can do a lot more to support the women and children here in the village.
We've taken on this ministry because we care for people. That's our mission. We love people here at Meridian, and we want to introduce people to the one who loved us the best and gave his life for us. So loving people, loving the community is what we're about. And that's why we've taken on this portion of ministry. We wanted women living in homelessness with children to feel loved and have a safe space, and knowing that we're making a difference in their lives. And so we're doing this so that for the sake of the kingdom, that we will make an eternal difference.
I just am like in awe of what God does, because we plant the seeds, right? But he's the one who waters and grows. And so when the women are here, we're planting seeds and we don't know what God is going to do with it down the road. One of the moms is a CNA now. Like, it just, every time I hear their stories, I'm in awe of like, wow, God, like, look at what you did, and allowing us to be part of that.
That village where the Meridian Amicus Village is on our church property was unofficially Tumbleweed Village. Personally, I thought it was just dead property, or property that was kind of a funny shaped part of our property. It wasn't a parking lot. It wasn't really providing any life. And when we dropped the wood on that property, as we began to assemble the village, in my eyes, I said, Lord, I thought this was a dead ecosystem. I've been walking by it, and here on the other side of the asphalt, there was life. And now you've given us an opportunity to bring life to ladies and their children and their families. And now it's kind of like, wow, this village has brought life to the congregation. It's brought life to our overall ministry. Is it easy? No, it's not easy, but it can be done. How do we solve this problem? And the way we solve the problem of homelessness, what I believe what we're doing is we work together. Because I firmly believe it will take all of us to move people from homelessness to shelter and ultimately into a relationship with Jesus Christ.